Hey everyone, so we're doing a studio update video. We've done 2 of these now for this location where we previously said that we have a new space. We've been working on upfitting that space for about a year now. So it's been an insane amount of work. And that's why over the last several months we've had periods where we've missed a few days for video because I've been managing this project, all of it, from the more zoomed out stuff to, the toilet paper holders in the bathrooms. I had to choose those, and the doorknobs. So we're getting there, we're almost done. This is an update. Last time we didn't have flooring. I think we didn't have any of the millwork or cabinetry. We were missing most of the electrical. A lot of it had been pre-wired but not finished. And it's made a lot of progress. So we're gonna show you a few things today. We'll go through the testing equipment room, which has been mostly finalized now. That'll have our large fan tester that's coming in, and thermal chambers, things like that in the future. We'll show you the testing suites for standard computers, the film studio, all that stuff. And then we're gonna have an extra video over on Patreon if you wanna check that out on patreon.com/gamersnexus. But for this one, let's get started. Before that, this video is brought to you by Asus and the ROG Crosshair 8 series of X570 motherboards for AMD. Asus has both the Crosshair 8 Hero Dark and the Crosshair 8 Extreme available, offering high-end motherboards for high core count AMD systems. We've used the Crosshair series for years for everything from basic overclocking up to liquid nitrogen overclocking, and we found them easy to work with, particularly for their extremely well-organized BIOS menus. Learn more at the link in the description below. Okay, so major changes. The floor, obviously, is in. So this is a big change where I worked with Andrew on kind of laying a lot of this stuff out and floor selection. Mostly we've gone with carpet and LVT if you care about that stuff. But in other words, this is not like hardwood. This is vinyl tile. It's luxury vinyl tile is what they call it. Pretty nice though. We have to work on obviously getting all the furniture in. That'll help with things like echo. I'm not sure that that's picking up on camera right now, but I can hear it. And that'll go away with furniture as it comes in. There's a couple of rooms we haven't shown yet, like all over the place actually. Okay, so this is the studio. We've shown you this. This was way different before, where it used to have, against this wall, there was all kinds of countertop. Some of this wall did not exist here. There was a bunch of other equipment back in that corner that we've completely ripped off. It was actually a different room, and now it's part of the studio room. So we have darker colored walls in here intentionally. This helps a lot with lighting control, and it's cool. Everyone has liked walking into this room because it's a cool transition from the rest of the office, where it feels like a different space, and clearly is a different space as soon as you walk in. So over here is just a corner where they used to have a bunch of, it was completely different, like I said. This was a hole in the ceiling in the past. I guess we're gonna have someone nitpick like small stuff. So we haven't had the crew go through for construction clean yet. They're still doing construction actively in other parts of the space, and it'll all be cleaned up at the end. We'll do some cool stuff with it though. See you, Andrew. This is a hallway. Okay, so this is the production room. This will be where we do a lot of seating for the sort of desk work, so video editing, writing. Pretty much everyone will sit in here for the bulk of their job, unless maybe filming either on camera or behind a camera or testing. So testing's mostly done in other rooms. That's how we do it now too. It's just the rooms are smaller and fewer, but we still have kind of the core concept of keeping everyone grouped together for working on creating the videos, other than the data collection, and then grouped together for working on collecting test data for the videos. So a few small changes for this room. There's power pole in a couple places just because it's large enough that, you need to get power from somewhere if we have stuff in the middle of the room. So power pole's in. I don't know, floor, not a lot. Other than that, this room was very easy to work with. There used to be a couple weird height walls in here that we removed early on. There was some millwork and cabinetry over here from a previous occupant, but we had that taken out so you could make more use of the space for our uses. And then next door is the testing room. So actually, despite the increase in size of the operation physical size, we end up closer as a team between the testing and production rooms, whereas now they're further apart. So these end up closer despite having a lot more space. This isn't much to speak of. I mean, we already have a break room for actual like kitchen use. This is more intended for, well, it was already here, so I mean, it's pretty nice quality. I didn't have to pay to put it in. I would have had to pay to take it out, and it's nice enough I didn't want to do that. So a lot of the stuff in the building along the way, we thought about how can we turn what exists into an asset rather than paying to remove something that might be useful. We didn't always do that. Sometimes it makes more sense to start fresh. But this, Patrick and I were thinking, you know, we're gonna have a wet bench in here for testing open loop components anyway. Probably just put a wet bench station right here for open loop parts on this side of the wall. And then this makes it easy enough to drain the loop. So small stuff like that, you know, it's not like a huge value add, but it's certainly easier. And like I said, it's pretty nice and it was already there. So why rip it out and throw it all out? So that's all they would do with it anyway. Make some use out of it. 2 power poles here. We'll put a lot of tables in for test benches. And I think that more or less recaps this room. It's straightforward in terms of what we're doing with it. Talked about it a lot already, but now you can see what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so next we're gonna go to my office room. We have the office room, testing room, and a production room. There's a couple others we won't show today, but we still have those to look at. So the main change here is just that the room has most of its finishes. Like I said, they're gonna go through and do some cleanup, touch up on stuff. Obviously, there's a few things that need to be pulled through the wall still, and things like that. But most of the hard work's done. The flooring is in, the baseboard's in, all that stuff. Plumbing, electrical's all in this room. So electrical and Ethernet wiring were a nightmare for this place. That's what took the longest because so much upfit needed to be done for it. A lot of that stuff was not only old, but some of it was non-functional or was dysfunctional in a way where we just would rather replace it than be unsure of what exactly we have. So that was the biggest work. I'll have a desk in here to do some work and have some other storage, things like that. But for the most part, I'm gonna be sitting with the team in the production room, but I will have a setup in here as well, just in case. So, all right, next room. So this room is the one we've said a few times will be a future, hopefully, sound testing chamber. I've got big dreams for it, where one business might look at this and go, okay, this is 10 people or something. We're looking at it going, I don't want to manage 10 more people, that's hard. But I can work in an acoustic chamber by myself in complete silence and isolation, and that sounds pretty good. So that's what I want to put here. It's just a matter of time, maybe next year, maybe the year after, we'll see how the money is, because they get expensive because you're basically going for like a 0 dB if you can. We'd be shooting for something like maybe 10 to 15 dB depending on sort of the environment around us. This used to actually be, I don't know how much I talked about this in the past, but this ceiling was all ripped out in the past, so we've got shots of that where it's been filled in now. This used to be a bathroom. We did show that actually. So that's been filled in obviously at this point, and now it's just a big open space to work with in the future. In the first video, we actually showed a shot really similar to this. Maybe we can do a superimpose them or something, but this hallway was a nightmare. Like it was perfect for filming the disappointment build, which is our annual horror themed build that we do. It'd be perfect for that. Sadly, we have gotten rid of most of the things that made it look like the Left 4 Dead hospital, and we've replaced them with things that look like a nice office. But so flooring's been done here, walls are done, electrical's done, all that stuff, and I don't know, it's a hallway, it's not that exciting, but it looks a lot different from the original, so I wanted to show it. This room originally, in the first video I think, had a wall running right here. So it was divided with a wall that only went up 80% of the way to the ceiling. So this is a lot different. We are working on getting finished concrete in. That's what we've done here basically. I think they have a few more finishing touches to do, but it's mostly done. And the reason we chose concrete for this one, it reflects a lot of noise and stuff, but we're not really using it for a studio. We're gonna use it for testing equipment. So this is where the large fan tester goes. I've said this in the last 2 videos now, but that's actually on the way. And that fan tester will probably go against this wall, but all that's gonna go in this room. So the reason we went with concrete is just because it's gonna be big machines with wheels rolling in and it'll hold better. We will be doing the fan testing here, some thermal testing will be here, so it's climate controlled. And then in the past I've mentioned we want to get a salt spray tester as well. So that's this room. There's some closet, bathroom, stuff like that. Nothing too exciting other than what we're using for equipment. And I guess we can head over to one of the next rooms. This one we've shown before, I think. So server room. I say server room. Everyone's always like, server room, this is too small for that. So just to clarify, when I say server room, I mean there's going to be one computer and a bunch of hard drives hooked up to it. It's the one we built with Wendell from Level 1 Techs previously. We're still using it. It's going to go on here. And we just got, this is not secured yet before someone says, oh, I've been doing network engineering for 3,900 years, but this is not secured at the moment. Roughly where it's gonna go. So we're putting in just a 2-leg rack with all the I think it's a punch down for all the Ethernet in the office. And then we'll probably at some point get another cabinet, but like I said, it's like a Silverstone CS381. It's a micro ATX computer box with a large disk shelf under it that Wendell provided us. So if we get fancy, we could get a rolling cabinet and put more disk shelves in it. If we do that, we would have to add some ventilation to the room. We've got enough AC to deal with it easily. It would just be a matter of adding a couple vents and ducting in. But I don't use data like Linus does. It's very far in the future. So we tend to prune A-roll files and compress stuff. Whereas I think he keeps pretty much everything, which is fine. They have the space for it, but we don't really do it that way. So this is enough for now. Pretty simple room, nothing too special here. Can move on to the next one. This will be storage. You've seen our storage room several times in the past, mostly in disappointment build videos. A lot of that will transplant here. We have additional storage elsewhere. So we showed one of them earlier. We have plenty of storage. There's a lot of it. But this will be for things that we probably have in the current storage room, just transplant it and we'll expand in the other locations. Big changes here though. So this wall used to be there used to be cabinetry in here. I think they at some point used it as a break room or something. It was horrible. I mean, the cabinetry was in rough shape. A lot of it was rotted. And I mean, the colors were mismatched and paneling from the cabinets was torn off. It was just particle board with stuff glued on it and been patched over the years several times. So we tore all that out. The wall was weird too, where it made a couple of turns. So the previous occupants hated 90-degree angles and made sure there were none of them. And instead everything was like a 17-degree angle. So we ripped all that out, straightened it out. The whole point of this, it's small stuff like this, attention to detail we're putting in where you're just making sure you can actually put a table or a shelf against a wall and not have a weird shaped wall where you can't put anything except for custom millwork that is like useless beyond a break room, which we already have. So that'll be this room, pretty straightforward really. It's just another storage room. We keep a lot of stuff for regression testing and long-term use. So like as we revisit CPUs and GPUs. All right, so that's it for the office tour. We do these very off the cuff and it's not scripted. But there's a lot of planning that's been into it. We've been over all kinds of floor plans, electrical and plumbing, and reflected ceiling plans and approvals, permitting, all this stuff behind the scenes. So it's been thought out for at this point about a year, like I said, and that whole time wasn't renovation and stuff like that. There's a lot involved in there where there's finding the place, looking at other places to make sure you like the one, negotiations and all the behind the scenes stuff before you ever work with a contractor on any of this. So it's not all been putting floors in, obviously. There's a lot that's been going on. But that's the update for now. And I guess at this point, I'll go back to the Nether realm and then we'll do another update once we have completed the project.